Man, this is awesome.
Oh, fuck. Hey. Good to see you among the living, man. Check it out. It's the latest talent mix.
Thanks, Pete.
Good to see you all among the living. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talon Mix. It is a Smallville recap podcast. And Zach, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I didn't mind this episode at all.
We're in the desert, and someone is offering us a lukewarm cup of water. We're not going to turn that down.
No,
we're not going to turn that on.
Don't get me wrong. I think this is the worst episode of season 2.
Right. If this came in season 2, 3, 4, we would have been like, that was stupid.
Right. But right now, I'm taking the throwbacks in stride, and I am also remembering the things they're remembering fondly.
Yes, we are hitting a lot of old touchstones of the show, which we'll go over. It is a little bit like me putting on clothes that I wore in high school, and like there's a little bit of that going on where it's like this doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
You can't go back. You can't really reclaim those things in the same way, and that's kind of what happens here. But I appreciate the effort, and I'll take that over whatever we were wearing last season, whatever the fuck that was.
Hear me out. Is this a little bit Star Wars: The Force Awakens? I say as I burp into the microphone. Is it a little bit like we're going to talk about? We're going to bring it back to season 1. It's not the thing you remember. It's not as good. But we're kind of like bringing it back to the base level to kind of then iterate from there.
Right. Yeah. That's a great comparison. Oh, that's perfect. You just explained my feelings about The Force Awakens by comparing it to historically the most hated season of the television show Smallville. And I love it. I'm here for it. You know how I feel about it.
I think I like Force Awakens more than you do, while also agreeing with you on every issue, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yes. I think we mostly agree about all 3 of those movies. We just disagree about how much we like them. But
yeah. And
the same criticisms pretty much.
Yes. And it's amazing how those go. I think we feel the same about the third one. I think the third one was the same. Like, I wish that hadn't happened.
Right, and I think we would rank them the same also.
Agreed.
I would say Last Jedi is the best, and then Force Awakens, and then Rise of Skywalker.
And I'm also open to, you're ultimately right. I'm like, I have a daughter. She's too young to give a shit about any of these at any point, but like, I'm currently in, you gotta see the original trilogy at some point. And then the prequels and then the sequels, like look, that's the order of importance.
Yes, that's how I feel about it. But I have 2 nieces, and they watched them in that order, the originals and the prequels and then the sequel trilogy. And they were fucking stoked to have a female Jedi to
absolutely.
And that's fucking sweet. And I think that's great. And that, if anything, that's one thing that sequel trilogy gave us, that a whole generation of little girls can enjoy,
It's
cool.
I think the thesis that I think was initially a thing, and then the second one really hammered in, that was like anyone can be the big hero. Anyone.
Right.
And the fact that the third one was, sorry we pissed off our most vocal fan base. Sorry.
Well, look,
sorry.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean,
it's tough because also it's not like they were that good.
No. It was an impossible task to try to make sequels for old ass people like you and me, or older, for something that they already loved, and then you're also trying to just do the same thing you already did, but for a new generation of people and maybe a different group of people than previously that was made for. So like, we're opening it up, and it's not just like middle school boys. Now it's girls and everyone, and we're trying to include more people, but we're doing the same thing, but we're just including more people. And then there's people, us were like, well, you already did most of that. And I liked it better when I was a kid.
This didn't make me 12 again. It's
Yeah, right.
I think ultimately, so the issue is, goddamn, I think you nailed it. So I've experienced this with Game Boy Color games. I had the latest modern console. At the time, it was the 3DS. And a bunch of Game Boy games were available on it. And like, man, if I could only get this, the 3DS doesn't feel like holding a Game Boy.
Right.
If only I could get that, then I'll be happy again. So I have now this cheap Chinese manufactured Game Boy knockoff that I could put all of the Game Boy games onto. And I'm playing it. I'm like, man, I'd be happier if I just had a real, actual goddamn Game Boy. And my wife was like, it's not gonna make you 11 again.
Right. Yeah, you'd be happier with it.
What you want, what you're seeking is to be 11 again.
Oh, it's so true. And you know what? The closest you're going to get is just watch those original movies again. Or if you were younger when the prequels came out, watch those too.
Right.
You're
right.
Or watch the new ones and enjoy what you can of them, which is what I do.
You know what? There's a very large chance that if my daughter watches any Star Wars, she's probably gonna like the newest ones the best. And there's a good chance she's not gonna love 70s sci-fi.
Yeah. Yes.
There's a good shot of that.
Having said all of that, I do think fundamentally they aren't as good of movies, but that's just true of all movies. Most movies made now aren't as good as the ones that were
fully
made,
I understand we're the oldest dudes on the internet. We are the old guys on the pop culture internet right now.
Yeah.
And just being like, yeah, anything new isn't as good as what when I was 12. See, when I was 12, the world was still magic.
It's so funny that I can say those things, but then when I hear like Tarantino be like, they don't make movies anymore, I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. They do. We make more movies than we've ever made. Just because they're not, like the big ones that the studios are behind are it's different now.
That's the thing, though. I think you and I have said this. Film, the art of film, hasn't gone anywhere. The highs of the art are still like, there's still challenging and exciting things happening in the art of film.
Yes.
The movie is dead right now.
The stuff that's in theaters generally, I would say it's a rough point. And I need no further evidence than this week's batch of new movie trailers.
We're going to do a thing. And if you want to do a thing.
Are we going to talk about Smallville tonight, or should we just...
I don't... Who cares? Who the fuck cares? If we want to do trailers, I have to watch them here live, which is fine with me.
You haven't seen either of them?
I haven't seen either of them.
Oh, fun. Okay, great. Now I'm not going to just watch them. Yeah, should we do it at the end?
Let's do it at the end. Let's get through Smallville, and then we will do trailers.
That's what the people want, is Smallville. And
right.
We got off track talking about Star Wars like we often do.
By this point, I think we're down to like 25 people a week, 25 hardcores. I think they're game for anything.
Well, look, I'm not going to put Star Wars in the vault with all those.
The days of 100 to 300 are over. We're down to a hot 25.
I think the trajectory of our listenership is following the trajectory of Smallville's viewership, kind of,
And I think it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The point is you and I are going to watch it. Whoever wants to come along for the journey, that's fine.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This was never for them.
You have to love the process. It's not about the result, it's about the process.
Right. We can say
As
that,
you know, we love the process of watching this show every week and then talking about it.
to be clear,
I actually get quite a bit of joy out of doing this.
I do as well. But like sometimes it's I texted you a picture. We have a cheap $150 tablet. It's a Samsung tablet that I got to watch wrestling while I do dishes, which is what I spend a lot of time doing. This is what they don't tell you about being an adult. I live in a house with I rent a house with no dishwasher. So like I spend a lot of time doing my family's dishes. My wife and I have a trade. I hate doing laundry. I don't mind doing dishes because I can have a $150 tablet and watch wrestling.
Right, yeah.
So it's if I don't have to touch a fucking scrap of laundry, my wife does not have to touch a single dish.
Wow, I love that.
It's great. It's great, but it means I spend a lot of time doing dishes.
Yes, for sure.
So I this evening I had I told you I squeaked in a a rare Dungeons and Dragons session with a friend. Like that was going to be 7 o'clock to 10:30, and I was excited to do that. And I didn't have a lot of time to watch this episode. My wife had double booked that with a yoga. It's hard to find time for yourself when you have a kid.
Yeah.
So I'm putting the kid down. And so during bedtime, she gets to watch like 2-3 episodes of Bluey. And while I'm doing that, while she's doing that, I have the tablet, the cheap tablet in my lap, and I'm watching the Smallville with subtitles.
Did you have any volume on the Smallville?
I had some volume on. I had enough
Just a
for
little, get the
inflection.
inflection.
I feel like I got it. I did not feel like I was missing.
You didn't miss anything.
No.
You're great.
But that is, to be clear, the context to which I am going into this episode of my daughter's Bluey episode is on. And my daughter kind of was picking up on it, that my attention was only half on the Bluey. And she was like, Daddy Bluey? Daddy Bluey? Daddy Bluey.
And you're like, daughter Smallville.
Daddy's got
Smallville.
podcast. Daddy
Yeah.
podcast.
Daddy podcast. Oh.
Charlie, this is all for you, babe.
Yeah. This is how we're sending you to college.
This is it. One $5 Patreon subscription.
That's right. Season 7's where we're kicking into gear. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We got this.
All that said, I'm having a lot of fun because I liked this episode. Cure is the episode we watched this week. It's the 4th episode in the 7th season of Smallville, the 136th episode overall. It aired on October 18th, 2007. This episode is notable because this is the Dean Cain episode.
Dean Cain in this episode plays a character more likable than he is in real life.
Yeah, big time MAGA dude. And it's funny how like the MAGA dudes are never like, that's a smart dude who I want to be. It's always just like genre TV actor. I had joked about last week wanted to do like a deep dive in Lois and Clark. I don't know what the deep dive looks like. It's a pretty good show. Not great.
Well, Terry Hatcher will appear on this show later, so you have another opportunity to do a deep dive if you want.
I don't know what I was looking at it. The thing is, I don't know what the deep dive is. At some point we should probably do a series of Superman show pilots, right?
Right, yeah.
I don't have it. There's nothing much about the show aside from it's pretty good. At least like the pilot is pretty good. And I like So Dean Cain was the star of, in the 90s, there was a show called Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. And it was a show about Superman, but it was mostly a drama about Lois and Clark dealing with the reality that Clark was Superman. Dean Cain, gotta say, a cutie. And he kind of nails Clark Kent. I do like him a lot in the role.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't seen really that show since I was a kid, but I remember loving it when I was a kid. That was my introduction to Superman. That was
Probably
my
mine
to
too, more than anything else.
Yeah.
That
and I don't know
the movie.
I was talking out of my ass. I was just joking. I don't know anything about Dean Cain other than that he's a MAGA guy, and so that's what I was joking about. But I don't know if he's done anything terrible or what. But
it's
just
right.
Vague MAGA shit is in my head.
Right. I don't think he's committed a crime, but like I don't think I want to hang out with him.
Right, yeah.
But he's in this episode, and he's not a problem.
No, he's fine.
He's fine. And it's
Here,
kind of fun that
he's fine
here.
as Jack the Ripper / Napoleon.
I am cradling my head. Like
we'll get to that, I guess. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. Is anyone missing at this point from the, like, they were very big on the feeling that Christopher Reeve was passing on the torch to Tom Welling being Superman. And now that feels a little silly, considering it's just an IP character, kind of anyone can be him. It's not as big of a fucking deal. Is anyone at that time missing? Christopher Reeve's been on the show. Margot Kidder's been on the show. Now in season 7, we've got Dean Cain. Are we missing anybody?
The only one that they wanted to get that they never got that I know of was Gene Hackman.
I mean, that would.
Of course he's not going to. Of course he's not going to be on fucking Smallville.
Of course.
I guess they looked at it early on when the show was kind of more of a hit, and his price was just too high. They couldn't.
No, yeah. Gene Hackman doesn't give a fuck about Superman.
No, he was like at retirement, about to retire at that point too. So
when is Welcome to Mooseport?
I think right around the start of the show,
which I think is his final film, right?
Yeah, so it's probably like 2004 or something.
2004. Welcome to Mooseport is 2004.
Yeah, so he was done. He was done with movies. He's not gonna go do fucking CW. He's like, what the what the Warner Brothers?
Go to Vancouver? Why?
Yeah.
And they'd make him be like Lex's grandfather.
Yeah. I mean, they never got John Cryer, I guess, but he was in other stuff as Lex Luthor.
John Cryer is in the Superman segment of John Cryer will come around. John Cryer
right?
Would
No,
play...
I know.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Smallville didn't get him, but then whatever, was it Supergirl? He was
I believe that we'll deal with that when we get to it. But yes, I believe in the segment where Tom Welling comes back, John Cryer is involved in that scene if they are not on set at the same time.
No, he is. They are. Yes, they are. They do interact. Yes, so that's the Crisis whatever crossover thing,
which we will have to deal with in some capacity. It's definitely not a full episode, but we'll have
yes,
to.
We're not doing those shows.
No, unless we are. Who knows?
They'll just go right from Smallville into Arrow and then just roll through that. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All right, I'm starting the recap.
In other news, Emily has left Brian.
Yeah. Truly. All right, I'm starting the recap now. Chloe and Jimmy are having coffee at the Talon, but Chloe seems distracted. So Jimmy shows her expensive concert tickets that he's purchased and tells her that he's planned an evening of fun for the two of them.
I can't believe that we don't get a name of a band here. I mean,
in season 1 or 2, it's Radiohead tickets.
Yes, or we're setting up some kind of tie-in with the music of the week. I mean, it really feels like they did that and then cut it out or something, because it's like these. Oh, look at those! These must have cost you a fortune to see this band. I'm not going to say out loud.
Because I'll also say, if you're watching this on a cheap Samsung tablet while your daughter's watching Bluey, you register Jimmy's gotten an expensive gift. You don't register that they are tickets to something.
Oh, you might not have registered that the opening of the show was a establishing shot of the Talon with a big old American flag out front, and we have some aughts pop music playing.
I
So
did.
was
I
like, we're
caught
back,
all
baby.
of that. I caught
We're
all of
back,
that.
baby.
I was so like, yes. This is a big season 1 throwback show.
Yes,
I
this
didn't
is.
hate it.
That opening shot is. I'm putting on my Letterman jacket.
Yep. So Chloe then spots a familiar face. She says a hasty goodbye to Jimmy and follows a woman out of the Talon. It is Sasha Woodman, a metahuman who could control bees freshman year, an episode that is truly lost to time that we talked about.
Metahuman, it's a meteor freak. Okay, well, this isn't the Snyderverse. This isn't the Snyderverse.
Right, metahuman is the Snyderverse bullshit.
Yeah, get that shit out of here.
Get that the fuck out of here. Fuck you, get out of here.
Like, I could see metahuman if it was a non-meteor freak power, but this is a meteor freak.
This is a
That's
classic season 1 meteor freak.
I think she's episode 3 or 4. She's like one of the early ones.
The bees, yeah.
Running for class president, and Clark was running, and so was other people. Right. I can't remember.
The fact
I thought she died. I thought this was when they were killing them. Remember early on they would like kill the meteor freaks?
Yeah,
you know, they would die or whatever. Or you just didn't know what happened to them.
I mean, I think this segment is who can we get?
Oh, for sure.
Who's available? Who's in Vancouver when we need this?
They do this again, but to 1,000 times greater effect with Bug Boy in season 10. It's one of the best episodes on the show.
Bug Boy show up again.
Bug Boy shows up, and it's actually poignant, and it's actually really good. Yes,
good for Bug Boy.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Bug
you
Boy
told me that
like
at the
Christian
time.
Bale. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh, I can't wait for you to see it.
Okay, so Chloe confronts her and asks how she escaped to Belle Reve, but Sasha claims that she was cured. She says she doesn't remember the last 6 years because she underwent a procedure by Dr. Curtis Knox. Dr. Curtis Knox is, of course, Dean Cain.
I love the idea that she's like, I tried to kill you with my powers, but don't worry, they took my powers away. And it's like, okay, you're still someone who tried to kill people.
Are you still fucking crazy?
The powers were the tool that you used.
Right.
You could still use a gun or whatever.
Yeah, which is still very legal in these United States.
Like the idea that curing all these meteor-infected people of their meteor powers is going to make them not psychopaths.
Right. Jimmy Olsen's not at all worried about guns.
No.
My wife and I have been rewatching The West Wing, which is wonderfully good TV. But these people this show that takes place in the 90s White House might as well be governing fucking Narnia the way they're talking about gun legislation.
It was a fantasy in the 90s, but now it's like Middle Earth, right? It's Lord of the Rings.
It's in 2016, I couldn't watch The West Wing because it made me too sad.
Yeah.
In 2025, fuck it. It's literally so divorced from reality.
Right, exactly. Now you're so far away from it that it's like watching Star Wars.
Yes.
Right. It's like you watch Star Wars, you're not like, oh man, darn it. If only we're so close to being Star Wars.
Yeah.
If we could just do a few more things. No, you watch Star Wars and you're like, this is could never happen, and that's why I'm enjoying it.
Right. Oh, these characters
dream.
are all trying to do the right thing. It's hard that they can't, but like it's hard that the realities of bureaucracy stand in the way of doing the right thing, but like they all want to.
Yeah.
Anyway, The West Wing holds up. It's really good. If you've been sitting on it,
They're
highly
having
recommend.
ethical debates in the White House. What a concept.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong though. It's our West Wing rewatch is frequently peppered with chants from my wife and I of white liberal men, white liberal men, white liberal men.
No
because
kidding.
most scenes do end with a white liberal man giving a monologue.
Oh yeah. To another white liberal man.
Yeah.
Or scalding a white liberal woman about.
Right, of course. Yes. Listen. Aaron Sorkin shows are good in spite of Aaron Sorkin, not because of. But also, goddamn, it's good when it's good. Sorry, just while we're on the Aaron Sorkin train, my wife and I saw the To Kill a Mockingbird, Aaron Sorkin. The Aaron Sorkin adaptation of To Kill a Mockingbird on Broadway. Jeff Daniels did it and then left, and then after the pandemic came back, and we saw that. It was a present to me that we went. We were both looking forward to it. Ooh, not a time I wanted that. Both of us were just sitting like arms crossed, like, fuck you, Aaron.
You think if you saw it before the pandemic, it would have been a different thing, or
a little younger, a little more fiery about the MAGA. It basically, Sorkin took To Kill a Mockingbird through a very a very liberal people versus MAGA lens, and it just felt a very like, I agree with everything, but like we're well past this, right? Is this your grand take on?
Sure.
Is this the fucking? I can't articulate it because obviously Daniels is very good and the whole cast was very good, and everything was very good, and it still just added up to fuck you.
I'm surprised they never did a movie. I wonder if they don't have the
interesting.
rights, or the rights. Who knows?
Who knows?
I mean, obviously they did a movie of To Kill a Mockingbird, but
Of
of
course.
the play.
Right.
Because for people like me, I can't watch that play.
You can't watch that play. And honestly, I don't think you missed much. Much.
No, but that is the unique thing about theater is like sometimes they travel, but generally, unless you live in the one place,
right? And even still, even if it travels, you weren't there for it. You know, you're seeing
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're seeing the traveling version.
Yeah, we couldn't afford to see most things. It was,
right, yeah.
Weird art form. Weird. It's kind of interesting how it's the purest form of drama, right? But it's also the most expensive, inaccessible one.
Yeah, that's what Tarantino was saying. They don't make movies anymore in theaters the last whatever. And that's why he's going to make a play next or something. And I was like,
no one can see it. No one can see
right, exactly,
it.
Yeah. You know what I like about movies? I can watch them.
And that's where I think there's been huge resistance from movie people to theaters like AMC being like, oh, well, better seats should be worth more tickets. Like, no. Like, movie going is and should be the most fucking accessible goddamn form of consuming art. Like,
yes.
Fuck it. I showed up on time. I can fucking pick the goddamn seat I want. That's how it should fucking be.
Yes. And look, I my favorite theater that I go to is the Rep Theater nearby, and it's old, and the seats are not super comfortable, and you have to show up early. And I like it because people are there to watch the movie.
Yeah,
Whereas
hell
when you
yeah.
go to a place with comfortable seats where you can show up whenever, God bless people, but they act like they're in their living room and the movies are a church to me.
Man, I feel the same goddamn way. I have a lot of adjusting to living in Richmond, Virginia has been very different from living in Brooklyn, New York. It's taken
Yeah.
an adjustment period. One of the complaints I do not have is the fucking Bird Theater in goddamn Richmond. I think it's the same fucking deal. Seats 1,000 fucking people. It's a classic goddamn movie
Yep.
house. God damn it, we are here to sit in uncomfortable seats and watch this fucking movie.
Yes.
I don't know about
And
yours.
I love this place because almost any movie that they're showing, any old movie, even if it's like fucking Halloween 3 or something, it's like almost sold out. So you like it's a packed
Hell yeah.
theater.
Hell yeah.
You're seeing all these movies with
That's
a whole
awesome.
audience. Yeah.
Ours still has a classic pipe organ.
Yes, you told. This is the one you saw Jaws at, right?
Yeah. And I've seen since then several films. But like the guy still comes up and plays the fucking pipe organ, which is awesome. I don't get the appeal of the pipe organ, but my father-in-law is like, this is fucking awesome. So...
You know what's fun is they show movies from all different eras, but it's a lot of old movies and it's in like the heart of East Portland. And so it's like whenever there's something that hasn't aged great, you get like there's always like a gasp in the crowd. or like knowing chuckles, like people are in on the joke or whatever, but
right.
it's great. It's like I think I saw Rear Window there a couple years ago, and there's a part where Jamie Stewart and Grace Kelly are arguing, and he goes, "If you just shut up a minute," and then there was some woman in the audience who's like, "I told her to shut up."
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, that's not very nice. That's not very nice.
That's not very nice.
Just shut up a minute.
Sasha leaves towards her car. Sasha, of course, is the B girl from before, and is approached by Dr. Knox himself. He tells Sasha she has something he needs and presents a chloroform-soaked handkerchief to her face. Sasha passes out, and Knox drags her away.
That, of course, is Dean Cain is playing the doctor.
Right, yes. So bad things are, of course, happening. It's morning on the Kent farm, and Kara finds Lana making breakfast for Clark. Shortly after Clark comes downstairs, Martian Manhunter appears and grabs Kara by the neck and warns her to stay away from Kal-El. I will say this Kara finds Lana making breakfast scene. It's all kind of warm, and I'm like kind of vibing with like, yeah, let's build a fun rapport here. I'm not mad at a rapport we're building here at the Kent house.
No, I mean, it seems like a nice environment. We're getting back to the old days when it was like a nice warm place to live. Now we got Kara upstairs and Lana's there. Here's my issue. Kara walks into the room and immediately makes a reference to Rachel Ray and Bobby Flay.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about Kara is we do the fish out of water
Right.
thing when we want to.
Right.
Otherwise, she is a normal human.
Otherwise,
who knows
she's
all normal
perfectly
humans.
fucking adjusted to...
Yeah.
Other people should be making those jokes at her. She should not be making them.
And she should be like, what? Who? Unless she's just fucking mainlining TV. That's all she's doing there.
But no, you're right. It's more charming to have like...
Mm-hmm.
No, the story's more fun if she is a little more Earth-like. And wants to know and is eager to know, and we could play on those misunderstandings. Yeah. But I guess that maybe doesn't work for the Clark-focused action-adventure show that we're forced into. But
you can't have her say the Bobby Flay, Rachel Ray thing. It doesn't make sense
that
she would make that reference. Even if she if she discovered who they were, she's still not making references to them. It's been 3 days or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not.
She is still looking to them as great sages of cooking.
Yeah. Also, Clark does this thing where they're out of maple syrup, so he disappears and comes back with it in like 2 seconds because of his super speed. Um, Not enough. She goes, "Did you go to the store?" No one mentions he did not have enough time to pay for that.
Not
maple
enough to
syrup.
stop, maybe wait in line, get it
No.
scanned
So
through, say
maybe he
hello.
maybe he left cash on the counter and just took it.
Maybe.
But he's still cutting. That's still kind of dick.
And Kara is like, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay to show off when your girlfriend is around.
So Martian Manhunter shows up. And this is something that bothers me, which is, can no one not talk cryptically? Can anyone just be like, hey, why was no one fucking 2 episodes ago? Like, Kara's father tried to kill your father, and like, she's a spy.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, why isn't this cryptic?
Because he did show up. He did show up previous episode and is like, you can't trust her. Can't he just be like, here's why, here's what happened, here's
And like, no, because the writers don't know.
No. Yeah, it's either they don't know or they don't want to reveal it yet, which is
It's
fine if you come up with a reason for the character to not want to reveal it too, but you
Right.
can't just because I don't want to communicate with you.
So I watched the Supergirl episodes of the 2 main Supergirl episodes of Superman the Animated Series. And I thought that was much more interesting, the way they took that, which was Superman, while exploring the ruins of Krypton, finds this preserved girl, brings her back to Earth, and describes her as her cousin, as his cousin.
Right.
You know,
right.
like just to avoid anything. It's just be like, you're my cousin.
Right.
Which, boy, howdy, works a lot better than whatever the fuck we're doing here. I don't know what the official like canon of the comics is, but
I think we eventually get into the backstory of what they're talking about, and I can't remember if it's good or not, but probably not. But yeah, Martian Manhunter, not a fan of Kara. He's like, wow, you know too much about Rachel Ray.
So Clark comes downstairs. Martian Manhunter appears and grabs Kara by the neck and warns her to stay away from Kal-El. They struggle until Clark steps between them. Kara claims Martian Manhunter forced her family from their home, but Clark tells her that he and Jor-El were close friends. I'm very curious about the geopolitical status of Mars and Krypton.
Right, yeah. It's so far away.
They're so far.
What was he doing over there? It makes
What is
sense he's visiting
happening
Earth.
here? Kara warns Clark to watch his back and speeds away angrily. Lana watches the whole scene in wonder, then politely excuses herself, because God forbid Lana has a storyline that is relevant in any capacity.
Oh, Lana. Yeah. She was our season 1 MVP, Brian. And
Yeah.
they haven't been able to come up with a pivot for her character. They've tried 47 different things and nothing has worked.
Ultimately, a character that was constructed from duct tape as the girl Clark is in love with. Like,
right, and she played that so fucking well. That's why she's the season 1
she's
MVP.
adorable, and she's still, to be clear, adorable. But like,
right, and she's playing that here in this episode. She's kind of doing a little bit of
no,
season
don't get
1
me wrong,
Lana.
it works on me, but also it's been 7 seasons of this.
Oh no, I'm not saying it works here. I'm saying, but that's what she's doing. She is one of the throwbacks. The way she's acting in this episode is very Lana season 1.
And to be clear, and it's not working. It's working on my dumb brain. The dumbest monkey impulses of my brain. I'm like, yes, no, I love her. But
No, it's true, and it's not. Obviously, we say this all the time. Kristen Kirk's great. It's not her fault. But Lana is where storylines go to die.
just fuck.
Because
We were blaming it on Lex last season, and
no, Lex it was the two of them. They were toxic together. But now that he's separate from the Lana of it all, his story, he's flourishing more. I mean, comparatively,
Yeah.
it's like Rosenbaum's seems like he's alive for some of these scenes.
And like maybe it was a fuck, Lex can take the Lana hit. Okay, now Clark, you gotta take the Lana hit.
Yeah.
Which is once again not Kristen Crook's fault.
She knows it. I'm sure Kristen Crook is like,
no,
"Get me
Kristen
out of
Crook
this
is so
fucking-"
fucking ready to bail. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Every writer here has failed Kristen Crook. The Martian Manhunter explains to Clark that Kara is dangerous, but Clark is reluctant to believe this because Kara is the only Kryptonian family he has. The Martian reveals that Kara's father, Zor-El, tried to assassinate Jor-El. He instructs Clark to find Kara's crystal before she does, or everything he loves will be destroyed. Kara is in the loft, listening to their whole conversation.
And then Clark says, "What? Can you explain to me what the crystal is?" And then Martian Manhunter's like, "Sure." And then he does. And then we all know what the crystal is. Oh, wait, no, that doesn't happen.
That does not happen.
He just vaguely says, "It's a bad thing. Don't let her get the crystal."
Okay, awesome. Lex meets Dr. Curtis Knox in the library of the Luthor Mansion. They have been working together to cure metahumans, but Lex asks him about some questionable tests Knox has been running on level 33.1 subjects that Lex never approved of. Knox blows off his concern, claiming that science and medicine only advance when risks are taken. Lex asks if Knox knows when where 3 missing patients are, and Knox suggests that their memory loss might have made them disappear. He thinks Lex erased their knowledge of Lex's responsibility, but Lex claims he was helping them by eliminating disturbing memories. Knox exits. I feel like it made more sense in the show than that description made it sound.
No, I mean, Lex is like, "Hey, you're erasing memories of people to help them." And he's like, "Yeah, but you also kind of erased the part of the memory where you fucked them over. So you got something out of it too."
Right. Okay. So, in an elaborately decorated bedroom, Knox is seen caring for an unconscious woman. She, she is surrounded by jars. I haven't gotten to the point I wanted to. This is not the woman I'm thinking of. She is surrounded by jars containing green glowing liquid and life support machinery. He kisses her and reports she has found another puzzle piece. He puts an apron on and approaches Sasha, who is strapped to a table in the most gratuitous, like, jiggly bra shot.
Oh, man.
Like,
it's bad. Even for the CW, it was bad. It was. I
understand.
There's no reason for her to be in her bra in this
There's
scene.
no fucking reason. You and I have both been like, we are pro sexy stuff on the show. We're pro a little sex on the show. That is what this show is for. Now we've crossed the line into have the girl strapped down, be in her bra, and have her jiggling around a little bit.
Yeah,
like gross.
Is this because it's directed by the guy who directed Halloween 2 and
It
Halloween
is Rick Rosenthal.
You know, I looked it up. I guess he directed 7 episodes. I don't know if those were before or after this, but so he's directed
I didn't know that before. Like I knew it and then filed it away, and it didn't tag into my memory. But I do think he most of his career continued into television,
right,
and this type of stuff. But yeah, it's not quite a. It's always in a wide shot, but it's still a very. it feels gross.
That was the thing. It did. It immediately. I was like, oh, I don't like that.
I just didn't like it.
Is there a reason this guy has to have these victims awake while he's doing the
No!
surgery or whatever? Like,
There's no reason it had to be the way it
just
was.
to be a dick.
Aside
just to be a
from
dick.
it would just be she'd be jiggling in a bra.
Right? Yeah.
And once again, I can't stress this enough. I'm pro-sexuality in this show. That's not what this is. This is just
No,
gross.
This is gross. Yeah, it was gross.
So he puts on an apron and approaches Sasha, who is strapped to a table, struggling to get free, selects a surgical instrument and extracts an organ from Sasha's abdomen, killing her. It's not hot if she's gonna die.
Well, I mean, say that to all the slasher movies ever made.
I mean, I guess, but like, I guess it comes down to.
Oh no, that stuff is gratuitous and gross too most of the time.
Right. Right. It's funny okay. My mother-in-law fucking loathes horror. She's a psychologist. She's like this she's a child psychologist specifically. And she's like, this shit ruins kids' brains. Her daughter and her son-in-law happen to be huge horror fiends. And
right, but wasn't that later in life for Emily?
Later in life for Emily, you're correct. I'm
Yes,
sure she's talked about that on the show. Yeah. No, Emily was a horror baby. And then kind of around dating me, we,
Yeah. So you're the Antichrist to her mom.
Okay, kind of, yeah. And we are excited to, eventually introduce, as appropriate as her interests.
Right. Start with the spooky kid stuff.
Right. We enjoy what horror does. And obviously, David Lynch, R.I.P., has talked about how any art form is infinitely deep. And that's the truth, right? Yep. That said, Emily and I, one night, were watching the film from, I want to say late 70s, early 80s, Slumber Party Massacre, which is a fun movie. Oh, the boobies here are just like so that we have boobies on them. Like, this is the movie you're afraid of. And like, no, you're right. This is a garbage movie. This is a garbage exploitative movie. You are correct. It kind of rules.
And did you show this movie to her mom?
I did not. What I want to do is get her to watch The Exorcist. She loves a movie called The Ninth Configuration, starring Stacy Keach. That is about a psych ward. It's effectively a psychological horror movie. But it's written by William Peter Blatty, who wrote The Exorcist. And I'm like, well, you gotta see The Exorcist. And she's enjoyed Get Out. Like other things that are more Twilight Zone.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's like, to her point and to her credit, when she was coming of age, yes, a lot of horror movies were largely porn. Slumber Party Massacre,
right.
etc.
Well, it's a spectrum like anything else, right? There's levels to horror.
Any art form is infinitely deep.
Yeah.
But it is funny to just be like, no, this is a way we talk about anxieties of the time.
Right, totally. Yep.
And also, art elicits emotion, and disgust, horror, revulsion are emotions.
Yes, as is horniness.
No joke. We've talked about it. It's like there is the amount of people right now. There is a lot of discussion on the internet about purity culture. The kids are becoming more conservative. And that comes to, there's no sex in anything. And like, sex is so demonized. What happened to Poltergeist of a married couple who look kind of normal and they get stoned and they like to fuck? You know?
No.
Poltergeist? Poltergeist, that is a wholesome couple. Come on. Craig T.
You know-
Nelson and what's her name?
No, for sure. Part of it is also like back in the day, we didn't have Pornhub. So like you had to get your vices all in one place. Like I'm going to go see a movie where people get killed and there's
Right.
a bunch of terrible shit and there's going to be some nudity. I'm going to get them all. I'm just going to go just one-stop shop
Right.
for all
right.
my
Man, not to go too far in this fucking direction. Feel free to tell me like, no, fuck it. We got to stop. We got to go back to Smallville.
Okay.
But like there is a thing of porn restrictions right now from the government. The government wants to be like, no, we need to make restrictions on pornography on the internet. Basically meaning you have to show ID to get into a pornographic website.
Right.
I simultaneously don't like the government gets to decide what porn means. Because that can be a broad
Right.
definition. That can be
Yeah,
real
that's
broad,
true.
and I hate that.
Great point. Yeah.
I also don't love what a 12-year-old can find freely on a webpage.
100%.
You
Yep,
know?
100%. Yep.
There's
Yeah,
gotta
I-
be a middle ground of safe
Yep.
sexual education
Agreed.
to also not
100%.
anything that is dissident against the government as pornography.
Right, totally. And also, I understand people not wanting to put their ID, enter their IDs
Also,
on porn.
no thank you. And that's the argument of
But-
some pornographic websites of like, okay, Pornhub, for example, has a full-time moderation team. They are making sure that no one who doesn't want their naked body on this website isn't on
Right,
this
yeah.
website. And their argument is a bunch of people who don't want to give their fucking identification to a porn website are just going to go to a foreign website where there
Yeah.
isn't a moderation team.
Yeah, and it's tough. I 100% agree. You got to regulate kids from seeing that shit at too young. But
That shit can
how?
fuck you up because
How?
there's fucked
Yeah,
up shit
exactly.
very widely available.
it's got to be more than yep, I'm 18. That's you can't that's
You
that's
can't.
not
I'm
security.
going to tell you that didn't work for me when I was 10.
No. Like maybe let's ask them some like esoteric trivia.
Right,
See if
right.
they can-
But you're right. But also, yes, like that didn't work on me when I was 10, and the worst I could see when I was 10 was boobs. You know,
Like maybe the question you like answer this question: who was the best Batman? Or like
that's it. That's it.
what's the best Star Wars movie? Force Awakens. You're not. Get out of here.
Get out of
kid,
here.
you child.
And the real is any of the original trilogy is fine. Is a fine answer.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay,
it's,
back to Smallville. You
back
told
to
me
Smallville.
I'm pulling the chute. Let's
Pulling
go.
the chute. Great. Back to Smallville. Chloe is at the Daily Planet researching Curtis Knox. Jimmy is excited about their plans, but Chloe reluctantly cancels them, saying she has to chase a hot story. I'm going to throw out there, Zach, I don't know if you disagree. I think Chloe's in the wrong.
Oh, for sure.
Jimmy is like, can this wait till tomorrow? Yeah, it can.
Yeah, also, isn't it just a appointment to meet with him? Or is this the actual surgery? Either way, if it's a life-altering surgery, don't you want to go to the concert with him? Like have one more good night before your memory might be erased
It's
or whatever?
Chloe, you're wrong. Chloe, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Team Jimmy on this one.
If
Jimmy,
it was like dinner plans, that's fine.
right.
Concert? No. You can't pull that shit with a concert
Like
unless it's an
concert,
emergency.
he's clearly spent like
Has to
money
be-
on.
Yeah.
Like-
Emergency is the only reason you can cancel that concert.
It's dating advice to anyone. If anyone spends a lot of money on a thing as a gift for you, you have an equal gift to them to give, which is have a
Right,
great
yes.
time at the thing.
Yes, exactly.
I've been on both sides of that. The right thing to do is have a phenomenal time.
Yep.
Jimmy is very disappointed, saying all Chloe talks about are meteor freaks, and they should all be locked up. Jimmy, not great. He storms away just as Clark super speeds in. He immediately asks Chloe to drop what she is doing to help him find Kara's crystal, but Chloe is already upset. Annoyed, she snaps at him that she does not have time to help and storms away. Clark watches her go, looking confused and worried. I am surprised by this point Chloe and Clark do not have a alert system.
A code word.
Right. Of the world is ending versus I'd really like you to do this.
Yeah. I'm also just Clark, after all he's sacrificed in his life to keep his secret a secret, is just super speeding into the Daily Planet like that in the middle of the bullpen when it's packed. No one's looking up and this guy just appeared out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, right.
Be a little more careful. Be careful. You can super speed nearby and then walk over. It's okay. The extra 2 seconds. Super speed into the bathroom and then emerge.
Right.
Papers go flying and shit. He just speeds right in there.
So Chloe goes to Dr. Knox's clinic and announces she wishes to be cured of her meteor rock infection. I will say, I'm kind of surprised it took so long to get to this. This is X-Men The Last Stand, the Brett Ratner movie from 2005, whatever.
Totally.
This could have been a whole season-wide storyline of curing meteor freaks, and it's this one episode.
I mean, they're doing what they can. Hopefully this is the end of it, of the Chloe thing. I mean, here's the problem with this episode. One of the problems. She doesn't really have a reason to want to get rid of this power.
I know. I don't understand it. You could just ignore it.
Oh, no. You can bring your friends back to life?
Yeah, and she's worried about, she expresses at some point, if I do it again, I don't know if I'll come. So don't do it. Can you control it?
Exactly. Yeah, don't cry tears. Don't use your heel tears. Don't cry heel tears into your friends.
This feels fucking silly, Chloe. This feels silly, and I can't get around to feel silly. Once again, Smallville, if you had just been with Lois, I'm that doesn't work anymore. It stopped working. I'd believe you.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
Not to say it doesn't work in this specific story scenario, but it doesn't work well enough to make it make sense.
No.
Lana
it's not enough of a thing to ruin her relationship with Jimmy.
Right.
Which we'll get to later.
Right. Lana is in the loft sending instant messages to a mysterious source asking if the Metropolis location, quote unquote, was satisfactory. Lana replies that it is perfect and that the payment is being sent. Clark arrives and Lana asks why he isn't with Chloe looking for the crystal. Clark asks if Chloe has opened up to Lana at all, but Lana says she just works 24/7 trying to impress the new editor. Clark tells her that Chloe's been researching Curtis Knox and is surprised that Lana is familiar with his work with meteor-infected people. Oh my fucking God. Lana claims that she's done research because she wants to help those that have been victimized by Lex. She reports that Knox claims he can cure a meteor infection with brain surgery. Lana assumes Chloe is getting a headline, but Clark is worried. Fuck. Boring.
All right. Take a deep breath and dive right back in because I have nothing to say about any of that.
I don't either. Yeah. Sorry, Lana. I don't. At the Daily Planet, Kara asks Jimmy if... Oh, now we're into some good stuff.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
The scene opens with Jimmy. I don't know if you picked up on this because subtitles. Jimmy giving the tickets away to a male coworker.
No, I caught that. Yeah.
And the male coworker says, "Thanks, Olsen. My boyfriend's going to love this." Brian, this is only the second confirmed gay character on this show. And
Progressive Smallville.
The first one who was not confirmed because they were outed by
Of course.
Chloe or whoever.
So progressive, Smallville.
Oh, it's so funny that's just so 2007, man, of just like pat myself on the back.
That's the thing. It's not the inclusion. It's the just like look. Did you catch that?
We did it.
Did you catch that?
Okay, back to the bra.
It's the fucking Star Wars Rise of Skywalker at the end of the movie, like a lesbian couple in the deep background kiss. And they're like,
come on.
God fucking
Totally.
damn it. Okay, at the Daily Planet, Kara asks Jimmy if he's seen Lois because she wants to ask her about the ship that's supposedly discovered, claiming to be an ET junkie. Jimmy reports that she's out of town for a story. It's very funny writing. I don't know why Lois isn't around for this point. What's she got going on to not be?
That's why, because they don't have anything to her. They don't have anything for her to do. So
I
like,
guess.
she's not in this.
But she wasn't able to get any clear images. Anyway, Kara flirts with him and suggests that Jimmy could probably do a better job of rendering the images and getting some results.
This is my problem. At no point in this scene with Jimmy is she playing it or is she written like a character that's from another planet at all.
Yes.
No, it's 100% a normal Earth girl flirting with a normal Earth boy. So we're wasting an opportunity for stuff.
There's plenty of opportunity to have fun here with I'm a hot alien and I kind of like you, and for Jimmy to be like,
right,
yeah, all right, all right,
right. He can be like, you're weird and you're acting crazy, but I'll look at you. Like that's his take.
Kara
right?
could be being weird, and Jimmy could be like, all right.
Yes, exactly. And that's fun.
Which
that's
is, to be clear, how you and I would behave if any pretty girl talked to us at any time.
Right, yeah. She didn't have to be an alien. If Laura Vandervoort was just talking to us, I'd be like, oh, okay.
I've known you since I was 18 years old. I know how we behave in front of pretty girls. And it's... Most of my interactions my first time with my wife were...
Oh, Brian, I've graduated to, I don't care that you're pretty.
Yeah, okay, you got there.
Yeah.
I try that, but they see through the facade.
Yeah, I'm 100% joking. Yeah, it's a wasted opportunity and it doesn't make sense, but keep going.
So with his evening now free, Jimmy agrees to help her. Kara kisses his cheek and leaves. So even with Kara's flirting, she's like, all right, cool. Call me when you're done with this job I asked you to do.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Chloe is at home writing Jimmy a letter when Clark arrives. He tells her that he suspects she is interested in Knox's procedure. He tries to talk her out of it. Chloe thinks Knox is her only chance at a normal life. Once again, with this very specific power that only came up that one time. And we're still not quite sure how it works. They do try with this. All the meteor freaks go nuts. You only know the ones who went nuts.
Right. Also, you lived for the first 20 years of your life just fine with this power, right? Or whatever you were, like she's had the power for a while, just she didn't know it.
She might have got it from the second meteor shower.
Right, but that's still years ago.
That's
You're doing
still
fine.
Years ago.
You're doing fine.
And that kid Ryan was fine. That kid Ryan was fine.
Yeah, there were multiple that weren't bad.
Yeah.
That just like got shitty luck or whatever.
Yeah, you just have a hyper specific scenario that we don't know you have to do.
Yeah. And also, just a heads up. Anytime a guy's like, hey, I need to do this brain surgery on you at night. That's a bad sign, Chloe. It's something shady. They don't schedule major surgeries for nighttime.
They're trying to flatliner you. They're trying to Joel Schumacher's flatliner you.
We already did that, Brian. We already did that episode.
We did already do that episode. Oh shoot, I lost my fucking. I got excited about Flatliners. Finding my place. Chloe wakes up strapped to a table. That's later. Spoiler. When Jimmy and Kara witness for images, that's later. Oh my god, we have a lot of this episode left. Fuck. Okay. Chloe thinks Knox is her only chance at a normal life. Without it, she will eventually become psychotic or murderous. She reasons that even if she doesn't, the next time she heals someone, she might not come back from the dead. Clark asks about the side effects. She admits that her memory loss is possible. Clark is upset. She is willing to risk forgetting all of her friends and experiences, but Chloe has made up her mind that it is worth the risk. 6 years is a lot of my life. I'm a different guy 6 years ago. Like,
For sure. That absolutely. But it is funny that Clark is like, you forget your friends. And he's like, you'll forget about me. Okay, selfish.
Yeah, all
Clark,
right,
you're
you
a little
wanna-
bit. It's a lot of other stuff. Not just about you, man.
it's not just about you. Okay, so Dr. Knox is disposing of Sasha's body at the Smallville fertilizer plant when Lex catches him. He tells him that he won't let him kill anybody else. Knox claims that he has cured them and made them forget what Lex did to them. He reveals that he only decided to work for Lex because a chosen few have something that he needs. Lex pulls a gun, and when Knox advances, he shoots him in the chest 6 times. Knox falls, but to Lex's astonishment, he gets right back up unharmed. He knocks Lex out with a flashlight and is about to deliver another blow when Clark super speeds onto the scene. Concussion!
Wait, who are you saying that for?
Lex.
Lex concussion. We get a Lex concussion, Brian.
From a standing position, crumpled to his fucking feet. Concussion.
Hold on, Brian. Hold on. I'm doing the math. This is happy 20th Lex concussion. This is the 20th. He's had 20 concussions. Yes, we did it. We did it, Lex. You did it. You survived 20 concussions.
Your
and
brain
you
is
only
dead. Your brain is
mostly evil.
gobbledygook. You have a gobbledygook of a brain.
I'm also saying that Dean Cain got a concussion in that scene because
Yes.
Clark launches him across the thing. And
Yes. I don't know if that matters as
knocked out.
much to an immortal guy, but
No, but it counts as a concussion.
his
for
brain
Alex.
definitely hit his fucking skull. There's no getting around it.
Yeah, for sure. We're doing good on concussions so far this season.
It's
That's
been
the
a
one-
big. It's a classic. We're really hitting the classic season here.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of brains hitting skulls and bruising a little bit.
We need a little more. Oh shit, Brian. Okay. Does B girl losing her memory count as memory loss? It has to, right?
I mean, that's literally memory loss. We
Right,
didn't
we don't
specify
see
how
it
you
ha-
lose memory.
Right. Yeah, I think that counts.
But
Yep,
she meets
okay.
Chloe and she doesn't remember Chloe. That's
Yep,
memory loss.
and she loses memories from that she had in the show previously. Okay, I'm marking it down. We get memory loss. Booyah, baby! Look at that. Look at that.
Wow. Big scene.
Filling out the stat sheet.
Okay. So Clark knocks into a power line and gathers up Lex and takes him to safety. While Jimmy and Kara are waiting to restore the images, they are flirting over learning how to use chopsticks. It's definitely flirty. It's
Oh, it
definitely
is.
flirty.
And it's like it's so obvious and it's cringy because she's like, "Thank you for being such a patient teacher."
Yep.
About the-
Yep. When the image appears, it is revealed that the ship was housed in a government warehouse. Jimmy wants to give Chloe the big scoop, but Kara asks him not to, knowing she would tell Clark. Jimmy reluctantly agrees just as Chloe approaches. He tries to explain what he and Kara are doing together, but Chloe says she doesn't need to. She leaves abruptly, throwing away the letter she wrote. I rewound this, making sure I didn't miss, like, there was, like, a kiss there or something. Nope. They are sitting together at a table. And yes, they're flirty.
Yes, there's she did walk into vibes.
I'm not saying there's not walking into vibes, but, like, I don't know.
I think they're touching.
I don't think this is worth being mad about.
She might. Oh no, this is a conversation. If I walked in on it, there's a fucking conversation because they're touching each other, and it's clearly there's heat in the room. Like, in the body language. No,
I've seen heat on Smallville. This ain't.
You're
heat.
mistaken.
No.
This is if you walk in on your significant other in this moment with someone. It's a conversation. Maybe you don't storm off and throw the thing in the trash or whatever, but it's a conversation.
Maybe.
100%.
All right. I'll leave it somewhere in between.
Thank God she didn't see the fucking chopsticks shit. The
chopsticks the end of it. Shit would have been rough. But, like, to be clear, I rewound to make sure I didn't, like, miss something. Like, that's the result I saw here. Lex wakes up in the hospital, surprised to see Clark at his side. Also, Chloe, once again, I'll throw out there, I'm not justifying anything, but, like, you did do a dick move.
We were on a break! No, I'm sure.
We're going to have a whole show where I've watched the On a Break episodes and I have new thoughts. Not radical thoughts, I just have new thoughts.
Yes, we will. Not tonight, because that's a whole episode.
No, right, yes. Look out for that on the Patreon. Lex wakes up in the hospital, surprised to see Clark at his side. Clark asks him about Knox, and Lex correctly guesses that Lana told him about him. He tells Clark that Lana stole $10 million from him and is uncovering company secrets. He muses that it was money well spent because he'd be in a morgue if Lana hadn't tipped Clark off. Clark spits that Lex is no better than Knox and regrets having to take his life for Lex. Clark is shockingly cavalier, considering I don't think there's many people he's just fucking bull rushed into and killed.
Right, I like the idea that he thinks he killed this guy and he didn't go back to check on him or like try to save him.
There's nothing here. There's no story here of Clark is like, I just fucking killed that guy. Like, I don't think we've had that story in where Clark has killed a guy.
Threw him into some electric power lines.
Yeah.
And just left him there.
Also, why not just let Lex go? If you're gonna kill a guy, why did you do that?
Why did he super speed off too? What was the point of super speeding out of there?
What was the point?
Like the cops were coming. He just zoomed in and grabbed Lex and then took off. Like, if you want Lex to be in trouble, leave him at the murder scene of the. I don't know.
Right.
It was a weird. This is a writer like. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is a writer. Fuck it.
Lex tells Clark that Knox is in fact immortal. He attacked him after Lex shot him. He also tells him that Knox is murdering his patient.
Unless Clark was like, that's his 20th concussion. I got to get this motherfucker to the hospital.
Yeah, right.
Right now. He's like, I feel bad. I'm responsible for like half those concussions. So.
Right.
Sorry. Keep going. I apologize.
You're good. Chloe arrives at Knox's facility, but is suspicious that there are no staff members present.
And also that it's a night surgery. Night surgery.
Night surgery is not typical. Okay. Knox reports that she has elevated meteor rock concentration in her heart. Chloe realizes that she is in danger, but when she tries to run, Knox catches and chloroforms her. Clark asks Jimmy if he knows where Chloe is, and Jimmy shows him Chloe's note to him, which says she might not remember him. Chloe wakes up strapped to a table. Another gratuitous bra shot here. I love that Dean Cain, the murderer here, has opened up these women's shirts, but made sure their breasts were still supported.
Yes, Jack the Ripper, as we find out later.
Yes, not a joke if you're listening to this and have no idea what we're talking about. Okay, so Chloe wakes up strapped to a table next to Knox's wife, Sophia. Chloe offers to heal Sophia with her meteor power, but Knox explains that she is not sick. He is tired of watching his lovers grow old and die and intends to take Chloe's heart out and put it in his wife to make her immortal. What?
It all checks out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Clark gets to Knox's office, but he is already gone. Lex arrives shortly afterwards and shows Clark research he's done that proves that Knox has been around since at least 1675. Clark has found Knox's pocket watch. Lex recognizes the inscription that matches.
We're skipping over the little slideshow Lex does of past pictures of who Knox was.
Yes, of course.
One of them is a painting of Napoleon. First of all, I love that this, obviously it's stupid that he was Napoleon, but I love that this image search Lex did saw this painting and was like, that's him too.
That's Dean Cain.
This oil painting is clearly.
That's motherfucking Dean Cain.
So stupid.
Clark has found Knox's pocket watch, and Lex recognizes the inscription matches the Victorian arms where Knox lived in the 1920s. Clark super speeds there just as Knox is pressing a knife to Chloe's chest. We do get a bloodshot. There is a squib in that knife. He pushes him across the room and unbuckles one of Chloe's hands before he is overcome by the jars of glowing green fluid. He and Knox fight brutally, destroying the medical equipment in the room. Clark finally collapses, but Knox abruptly stops fighting when he realizes that Sophia has flatlined. He cradles his dying wife as Chloe frees herself and pushes the meteor rock away. Clark recovers, and they watch in stunned silence as Knox cries over his dead wife.
Once again, when she pushes the meteor rocks away from Clark, they stop glowing for some reason.
Yeah, weird.
Which is it would make sense if they started glowing when he entered the room, but they were glowing the whole time, and then when she pushes them away from Clark, they stop glowing. I don't understand how that works.
I also want it's funny the way we leave this scene. I was doing it. Well, how'd that fucking scene end? We're gonna get an answer, and it's gonna be insane.
Yeah. And this is the scene where when he's about to cut into her, she makes some Jack the Ripper quip, and he goes, "Actually, I was Jack the Ripper."
Solved. It was Dean Cain. As far as I'm concerned, Jack the Ripper was Dean Cain. The Martian Manhunter approaches Clark in the barn, and when Clark asks him what he did to Knox, he doesn't give an answer. It's basically implied that Knox cannot be killed.
He says, your father and I had a policy of don't ask, don't tell. I suggest we have the same policy," which is basically the writers saying, "I don't know. It's late. I don't know where he took him. It doesn't matter. Who cares?
Also, what the fuck? What the fuck? Where the fuck is he?"
Did you bury him on Mars? You buried him alive.
Bury him on Mars?
None of them. Phantom Zone. What's the?
He points out that, like Knox, Clark will also outlive the people he cares about. Kara enters and again claims that the Martian Manhunter cannot be trusted. The Martian claims that Zor-El was a traitor. Clark is torn, but Kara is upset that he doesn't believe her. She flies away into the sky.
I also like the idea that Clark, spend so much time worrying about what the right thing to do is and justice and all that is just like, my Mars alien friend, you go do whatever you want with this fucking guy.
Do whatever.
It's fine.
Fuck.
Don't ask, don't
Make
tell. It's
this
fine.
my fucking problem.
Yeah.
I've only got Earth jurisdiction, and so make this your jurisdiction.
He's like, you know what? I'm with Lana now. My secret's out. Like, I give a fuck about what you do with this asshole.
Put him in the Mars sand. The next morning, Lana asks about Knox's clinic. Clark tells her that Lex helped find Knox and that Lex claims she stole $10 million. Lana says Lex is just trying to destroy what they have, and the money was a divorce settlement that she intends to use to help meteor-infected people. Lana, like, you couldn't just be like, yeah, I have $10 million from him. Want a bail?
Yeah. Yeah, fuck him. He's an evil billionaire.
Yeah.
You remember where he cloned me and also where he faked a baby in me to marry
And he's
me?
not that mad about it. What do you want to do with that, Clark? There's a right answer here.
How long has it been? She's like, the settlement and a divorce. You know how long that shit takes?
That takes so long. That shit
Unless
takes...
they just had a prenup.
Right.
And I feel like billionaires' divorces take even longer.
That's just... I assume billionaire divorcees are just spending money on literally a credit that says, like, no, the money's coming.
Yeah.
I don't have it, but I have it.
Yeah.
Clark looks doubtful, but Lana hugs him and says she'd never hide anything from him. How dare we put a guilty shot on Lana here? How dare we do that?
This is just, they're trying to give her something here, man. They're trying to give her something. I do appreciate the effort of, hey, it's old Lana, but there's a dark, she's hiding that it's not really old Lana. So you're trying something, but it's just...
How about getting her involved in the adventure? That's the only answer here. We haven't tried that one time.
No,
one time we haven't tried getting her involved in the adventure.
I mean, they did when she was the witch lady, but then she was the witch lady.
No, she either not as the victim, not as
as a different person, a witch lady.
Clark is like, hey, I'm having a problem with Dean Cain. Like, have you tried this? Like, nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
She's like, you better go talk to your real friend, Chloe.
And he's right, because Lana doesn't have anything to fucking offer. That evening, Lana is seen entering an abandoned building. One room is full of high-tech surveillance equipment, which she is using to spy on Lex.
Lana has a Lex room. It's a Lex room.
Lana has a Lex room.
Lex, his whole life dreamed of having someone who was so obsessed with him that they had a room about him. He's like, finally, someone has a Lex room.
Clark, make these Lois stories happen. Stop this. We love Erica Durance. We love the chemistry. Stop this. She's no good for you.
And you're no good for her. Let her go.
And you're no good for her. Let her go. Let her go to fucking Maine and fucking restart. Let her go back to Canada and restart. Okay, Jimmy is waiting for Chloe, expecting her to not remember him. He has brought her a keepsake box full of memories about their relationship. It's funny here. I have the thought of the way TV works, of like, goddamn, how dare we use the visual language of photography to make things, to convey emotion here. As much as we blame Netflix for this thing now, Smallville certainly has a photoreal thing. I'm looking at right now above my desk a handful of like photo booth things of my wife and I when we first started dating. They are above our desk right now. They are keepsakes. I don't think any one of us have looked at those and gone, best first date ever. Like, how dare you let your actors and the photography convey this is a meaningful image of a pleasant time you had together.
Right, totally, yeah. Well, someone might be in the kitchen, doing dishes,
and that's the thing. I'm just saying, I don't know if Netflix invented this as much as
no, they definitely didn't. That's that for many years. That's the main difference between TV and movie. One of the main differences. It's dialogue. It's all about the dialogue.
Right.
TV.
Right.
So I guess the difference, what Netflix did is that's creeping into movies now.
Right.
That's the movies are doing that shit.
I think you're right.
Like, that's
right.
Where, yeah.
Right. Whatever TV show, sure, fine. Because I also watch TV shows while I'm doing dishes.
Yes, totally. Yeah.
That's what TV shows are for. Mild distractions.
I've seen every episode of Friends multiple times, but I've heard every episode of Friends thousands of times.
Extremely yes.
You know what I mean? I've heard it.
Extremely yes. That's perfect.
There's times where I watch an episode that I'm very familiar with, and I go, "Oh, I didn't realize that's how it was. They were sitting this way, or whatever." Because I've listened to it so many times.
Right. God, you're exactly right. So they talk about their happy moments, but when Jimmy suggests they agree that the future just be normal, Chloe cannot promise this. Chloe's phrasing also sucks here, and I don't think it can be normal between us, which is different from I have a career right now that I'm focusing on.
Well, I'm confused because it makes it seem like she was going to break up with him.
Right.
But then it kind of seems like, oh, that's not what she meant to do. It seems like it's a misunderstanding rather than her being like, I can't be with you because of the meteor freak thing.
Yeah.
It seemed like she was like, it's not going to be, it looked like she was about to tell him. She's like, it's not going to be normal because I have weird shit going on.
Oh, interesting.
And then he freaked out and was like,
oh, interesting.
Cost me so much money.
I didn't take it in that direction because it's not a good scene. But I think you're right, and I didn't get it because it's not good.
On and on. And, yeah, it's one of those annoying. We broke up because it's a TV show and we didn't communicate. Like, I feel like when you break up with someone, you have a real conversation.
You have
right?
so many real conversations.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
You have so many real conversations, and some of them end in sex with that person. And you're both like, okay, that wasn't what we intended to do.
No, totally. It's like negotiating a long contract negotiation.
Yeah, kind of.
It's like breaking when you're with someone for a long time and you break up.
My most fucking breakup was like things were bad, things were rotting. Just like they were over before they were over, but like we were both kind of waiting out the lease. Like we didn't know it at the time, but we were both kind of waiting out the lease.
Yes, totally. That's how it usually happens, right? It's dead long before it's dead.
Right.
Your weekend at Bernie's-ing your relationship usually for a few months at least.
Right. And then there are both maybe trying to like, I'm going to put effort in, and the other person maybe doesn't reciprocate that. And you're like, fuck it, what am I fucking doing then?
You take turns being the corpse.
Yes. Yes. But it's funny it's so funny how it perfectly timed to the lease ending up and that was the time to just both pull the trigger on the thing we both knew was fucking dead. And someone has to be the bad guy who broke up with the other person, and at that point I was happy to be that person.
I'm sure she was happy that you did it too.
I'm sure now she was happy.
I've been in that position.
She was happy to be angry, but I'm sure in retrospect she was
where I'm like, oh good, you're doing it. I don't have to. I can be the one who's getting the news broken to them rather than breaking the news to them.
I've never broken up with somebody that I'm now sitting here going, why did I do that?
No.
And I wish everyone the same peace of mind. So Jimmy thinks Chloe is still mad at him about helping Kara, but Chloe insists that she isn't. This is reminiscent of Jimmy being like, "Is this about Clark?" I'm like, Jimmy, I don't fucking care about you. He says he's been very patient with Chloe and doesn't understand why she can't tell him what the problem is. When she doesn't answer, Jimmy says he can't do it anymore and leaves Chloe in tears. I'm glad a story like this is happening, even if I'm not particularly invested in it.
How do you mean?
I'm glad we're getting a little romance back in the show.
Okay,
even if I'm not
getting
particularly.
some drama. We're getting some soapy stuff.
I like that stuff in my Smallville. I think Smallville is better at that than it is action adventure. So I'm happy to get some of it.
We had some good soapy stuff with Lois and Oliver Queen, but then it was just the only soapy stuff we got was Lex Lana Clark.
I think the soapy stuff, when it's good, is better than... I think Smallville's good soapy stuff is better than Smallville's good action and adventure stuff. And hence, I would love it to chase good soapy stuff.
You know, and that's, again, what we get back into when we pivot to Lois and Clark, baby. We get
That's what I'm looking forward to it. Oh, two people with chemistry? Flirting?
Yeah.
God, give it to me. Give it to me. I'm missing Erica Durance. I don't know it when I'm watching the episode, but like Erica Durance is a good element.
You know who else we
haven't
seen this season?
What's that?
We know who else we haven't seen this season?
We haven't seen John.
Mr. John Glover.
Mr. John Glover. And Lionel storylines have not been that exciting since they dropped the ball on like Lionel.
Yeah.
Being interesting. But I do miss him.
He still brings joy to my heart when I see him.
He's never the problem.
No.
We got featured music this episode. Stolen Earrings by 2 Hours Traffic. Cello Suite #1 in G major. Fucking boring by Bach. And Where I Stood by Missy Higgins. I don't recognize either of these songs. I'm so glad they're here. I love Needle Drops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't recognize them, but they sound like they're from 2007 and they're very Smallville-y.
We're trying to give them a little heat by putting them on Smallville.
Yeah.
The word cure appears 5 times in this episode, Zach.
Great.
The original title of this episode was Savage, referring to DC villain Vandal Savage, who was originally supposed to be Curtis Knox, but it changed because the character was off limits. So all references to the character had to be removed. Interesting. Who the fuck cares about Vandal Savage?
I don't know, but that's why they made him Jack the Ripper or whatever.
Funny.
That's interesting.
I saw 2 words here, and I gotta know where it's going. For most of the scene where Chloe is strapped to the gurney after being kidnapped by Dr. Knox, she is in bare feet. However, that's where I was like, where is this going? Where is this going? However, for a brief moment during the battle between Clark and Dr. Knox, she is wearing shoes. Then, when she is seen freeing herself from the gurney in the aftermath, she has gone back to being barefoot.
All right, you foot fetishist, whoever wrote that noticed that.
There's an addendum here. In any case, these cannot have been the shoes she was wearing before being kidnapped, since those shoes were black, while the shoes she's briefly seen wearing in the gurney are beige colored instead.
Great.
Dr. Knox warns Lex that Mussolini once killed a train conductor for being late. This is actually untrue. It is a myth born of the Mussolini propaganda of the time that Mussolini was so great a leader that he could even get Italy's trains to actually follow the schedule. The propaganda was so good at the time that most people believed it, but according to historical study, not only did the train's punctuality remain unimproved, but it actually deteriorated under Mussolini's reign. That's actually interesting now in 2025. I won't get into why.
No idea what you're talking about.
I won't expand in that for any reason. Get back in the fucking vault.
Gotta go back in here. Sorry about that, Brian.
It's been a rough fucking day. Get back in the fucking vault for your allotted fucking vault time. You fuck. Former Freak of the Week Sasha Woodman returns and reveals she had both of her powers and her memories of the past 6 years removed by Dr. Knox. It is never established how many Belle Reve patients /33.1 subjects have gone through Dr. Knox's procedure. However, this potentially wraps up an X number of past Freaks of the Weeks, some of whom are aware of Clark's secret. Knowledge of the memory loss would remove.
Damn it, if we knew the number, we would have X number of memory losses to put on our tally chart.
Next time we go through it, we'll keep
Yeah.
that. The rest of this stuff all seems like whatever. We're going long. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Talon Mix. We appreciate every gosh darn one of the 25 of you. Zach, any final thoughts?
No, I'm hoping we can continue this not terrible run.
Seriously, I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised by the last two episodes.
Yeah.
Not great Smallville, not the height Smallville, but not a pain in the ass to watch at all.
No, yeah, easy.
I still am enjoying watching them and talking about them with my friend, which I can't say about some episodes last season. I have a newsletter. It's called Dirtbag Nostalgia, dirtbagnostalgia.substack.com. It's weekly. That said, there might not be one this week. I'm working on a Batman one about cool, fun, weird Batman stuff.
Hell yeah.
It's taking a minute.
I'm stoked.
But Zach, do you have a question for the Smallville Gods?
Yeah, is Brian's Batman post going to be fucking awesome?
Oh, fuck yeah, it is. Fuck yeah, it is. Good night, everybody.